Hi, I'm Effie. This is What Effie Reads, and this week I'm going to let dice control my life. This is a video concept that I've done before, probably around 2 years ago, and it very quickly descended into chaos. I'm hoping that this week will only be mildly chaotic, although there's definitely the potential for some interesting outcomes from some of my dice rolls. The major dice rolls that I'll be doing each day will be how long I'm going to be reading for that day and what I'm going to be eating that day. There will be lots of other dice rolls sprinkled into my day, but those are kind of the major ones. I'll then basically do my own little personal dice sprints following the same rules as Becca from Becca and the Books does. When she does dice sprints, each dot on the dice counts for 5 minutes of reading time, and if I get doubles, I have to switch the book that I'm reading. I hope that this all makes sense, but if not, it should make sense pretty quickly. So strap in and let's get rolling.
She said to pick her up, but that's a bad call. Timing, I don't wanna regret it when it goes wrong. Yeah, well, she's in my car, but she's out of my league. Only in my arms temporarily. She looks pretty when she grits her teeth, 'cause her boyfriend sucks and she knows he cheats. Cries on my shoulder, but I can't see why she's not with me.
I've made it through the morning and it's now lunchtime, and I am so ready for some lunch. I could feel myself waning during that last sprint-esque thing. And I was just like, I really want lunch, but the dice said my lunch was going to be at 12:30. So that's when I'm having my lunch. And for today's lunch, I'm having tin tatties, which sounds uninteresting, I guess, but basically it's just these that I season and put in the air fryer, and they end up super tasty. So let's put them together and I guess reflect on my reading this morning. So the dice decided that I was going to be reading The Dark Vault, which is, I feel like, one of the V. Schwabs you don't really hear too much about. Like, obviously you do hear about it, but like not to the same extent as like Shades of Magic or Vicious. I'm having a good time with it. It's kind of giving me vibes of City of Ghosts meets Addie LaRue. Like, I'm only about 50 pages. I'm not sure if I'm even at the 50-page mark yet. But it seems that there's a mystery. There's a kid who's doing things she probably shouldn't, and like you can feel the danger mounting because like she's doing what she shouldn't. And also there's themes of grief, which I enjoy in books, even if it is a little intense at times. I don't usually put vegetable stock in my potatoes, but I think it smells good. I'll give it a little try today. Just a little bit. Just a little sprinkling of veg stock. And some garlic. And then I need to put some cheese in. Oh, they're looking beautiful. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. Like, I need to give them a mix and stuff. but that's what they're looking like so far. That doesn't show how beautiful they are, but they are. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do whilst I wait for them to cook. Like, I didn't really think about the fact that food takes time to cook and I'll have free time, maybe. Well, considering the dice, I meant to control my reading. Not my reading. Considering the dice, I meant to control my week. I probably should come up with some options as to what I get to do whilst my lunch is cooking. Okay, just need to put a bit of oil and then mix them and put them in the air fryer. Maybe I'll give myself kind of free time, or maybe I'll say that's a dice option. Like, one of my options will be just like free time, free choice. Actually, that seems like a really solid option. I'll have to come up with some other options. But anyway, that's my lunch done, and I will check back in a bit. Just quickly popping in, so I've had my lunch and I'm back to reading, although the dice did me dirty, and just as I was getting into the Dark Vault, I've had to switch to this Savage song. Like, I'm not crazy mad. My hope is to get through all of the books on that list this week. I mean, we'll see how it turns out. But I just wanted to pop in because I didn't realise that there's a quote from Vicious that I see a lot about how, like, men are monsters. I'm gonna actually find the exact quote because it's a really good one. I mean, there's lots of really good quotes. But it says, plenty of humans are monstrous and plenty of monsters know how to play at being human. And it's such a good quote from Vicious. And it's like the quote at the beginning of this Savage song. And like, even though they are separate series, I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of like the Schwabiverse, where maybe, well, not maybe, because like, I don't think the world where the Extraordinaries live is going to be the world where the characters in this Savage song, I can't remember what the duology is called, also live. But I love the fact that we've got a quote from another one of Schwab's books starting off this book, especially because what little I know about this story is about the way that what we define as human and what we define as a monster are very subjective. I don't know. I can't think of the word, but I do know there's a sense of the monstrous characters in the story are not necessarily the villains, and the humans aren't necessarily the good guys. But I'll see more as I read it. Popping in again because I think this is possibly the best exposition I've ever seen in a book. So in Monsters of Verity, I remembered what the duology was called. In the Monsters of Verity series, we've been introduced to 3 kinds of monsters, and like, it's been quite slow in the first 50 pages in terms of how much information we've gotten, but like, we just got told there were 3 kinds of monsters. And then the way that what those 3 monsters are is explained through a song that a little girl sings. It goes, monsters, monsters big and small, they're gonna come and eat you all. Course I, tooth and claw, shadow and bone will eat you raw. Malachi, Malachi, sharp and sly, smile and bite and drink you dry. Sunai, Sunai, eyes like coal, sing you a song and steal your soul. Monsters, monsters big and small, they're gonna come and eat you all. And I just think that's like such cool exposition. And like I say, probably the best way that I've ever seen, I guess, what is essentially an info dump done. And yeah, really loving this book. Like, I was enjoying The Dark Vault, but this one sucked me in straight away. It's a little after 6:30 and I've read maybe for about 5 hours today. Like, obviously there's been a lot of breaks. I had a big gap over lunchtime, but if I count just the times where I was like sprinting, it's about 5 hours, maybe 4.5. And I've read maybe about 200 pages of the 2 books that I'm reading. I think this Savage Song is going to be a 5-star, which means that almost every Schwab I've read has been a 5-star. I think the Casty Blake trilogy and the Random Spirit Animals book are the only ones that weren't 5 stars. I think every other Schwab that I've read has been a 5-star, and yeah, I'm just loving this Savage Song. Also enjoying The Dark Vault, but I feel like I'm not quite as sucked in yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Like, it's got a lot of very interesting elements. I'm realising that one of my first rules of the day, where I was like, how long will I read for today? If I try and do it strictly and say it's only the minutes I'm actually reading, it's going to be really hard to achieve, because 7 hours is like a middle option, and knowing that I need to get another 2 hours in today if I was going to try and achieve that seems like a lot. So I think what I'll do is say that how long am I reading for is like how long's my day, and then I have my evening thing where I make tea, watch some TV, something like that. So I have rolled for tea. We're having peri peri halloumi, which I'm very excited to try. I just need to get the kitchen in order first. So far, I think today's gone well. I think there's a couple of things I'll probably tweak for tomorrow, and surprisingly not as chaotic as it could have been, but this is only day 1. So I went to start making tea and found out that I didn't have the peri peri seasoning, which is kind of critical to the dish. So a little bit frustrating, but I've found a recipe on a website called Sprinkles and Sprouts. So I'm going to try and make my own peri peri seasoning, and hopefully it goes okay. So tea's been a little bit delayed, but I am going to get cracking now. So 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm just using granulated because it doesn't specify, so hopefully that's correct. 2 tablespoons of sugar. Paprika, I'm going to skip for now because B's picking up some more paprika, but I will put the sugar back in the cupboard. Yes, that's where you currently are. You're in the cupboard. So sugar, onion powder, B's picking up, so I can't do that yet. Garlic powder, 2 tablespoons. I've got the big, oh, it smells amazing. Got the big Costco of garlic powder. So 1. Oops. 2. What's next? Ground coriander. How much ground coriander? 2 tablespoons of ground coriander. That's a lot. And I don't think my tablespoon's going to fit in the jar. No. Let's see if my half does. Where's my half tablespoon? So, because my full tablespoon won't fit in the jar, I've just got my half tablespoon, so I need to put 4 of these in. 1. This is going to make so much spice mix. I hope it's nice. 2. 3. It smells amazing. But that's just the coriander. 1 tablespoon of salt, which kind of sounds like a lot, but also like my pestle. Which one's a pestle? It's just the mortar, but you can see it's quite full already. I'm just going to use table salt because I'm not really sure what salt is meant to go in. Gosh, dropped a bit there, that'll do. It's a terrifying amount of salt. 1 tablespoon of oregano. And I've also got the Costco one of that, although I might have to get a new thing out because I'm almost out of it. Then ground ginger, B's picking up. Ground cardamom, I need to actually grind it because we couldn't get ground cardamom, but we do have cardamom pods. And then, so it's 6 cardamom pods to a teaspoon, so I'll need 12 cardamom pods. 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Oh, that smells amazing. Look at the colour on that as well. It's so vibrant. And 1 teaspoon of cayenne. So I just need to put the cardamom, the normal paprika, and the onion powder in. Cool. I am going to go now because you're probably bored of hearing me talk about ingredients.
Talking to people who've been over. I'm not even talking to you, I'm talking to myself. 'Cause I'm afraid of you, I'm afraid of the truth. So forgive me for saying I'm sorry. I don't need nobody except maybe you. Is it true love if I don't love anyone else? Maybe it's time that I stop lying to myself.
Hello and welcome to day 2 of Dice Controlling My Week. I have made one slight change in that I've now got a list of random things I can do in any kind of spots in my day that I need to fill in. But aside from that, it should be fairly similar to tomorrow. So I guess let's get the first set of dice rolls going and let's see what they're telling me I'm doing today. reading Vengeful as decided by the dice, just as I was like really getting sucked into this Savage song and feeling like I was getting close to kind of the conclusion. The dice were like, no, start a new book. So I'm reading Vengeful, absolutely adoring it, which fully expected because I love Vicious. It's 5-star. And I'm starting to see themes emerge in Schwab's books. Like, I already feel like I had an idea of some of the themes, but I think there's an element of mortality. I think that's a commonality. The idea of being enough, feeling like an outsider, and the marks that you leave on the world, and I guess like how they last. There's also a little bit of like the idea of good and evil not being black and white. And I don't know, like I start to feel a little uncomfortable is probably the wrong word, but like I feel like I start to understand Schwab in terms of like these are things that they are concerned about and we see repeating over and over in their work. But I like it. But also seeing these themes continue to emerge helps me realise, like, beyond the fact that Schwab has a way with words that really tickles a certain part of my brain, the themes that these books deal with are themes that I like seeing in books, so that also makes sense. And now I'm going to get back to the book, but first I need to try and find one of my die, as I knocked it off the table and I've somehow managed to lose it.
From another lover.
Just in the kitchen heating some milk because, well, I say milk, it's oat milk, because once again I have rolled to have a hot chocolate as my drink. Like, I guess it's my own fault for putting hot drinks and cold drinks on the same options. But it's my third hot chocolate of the day and it's a lot. Thankfully, I've got a variety of hot chocolates. And I'm also kind of glad that for lunch I rolled fruit. Because, yeah, it's sweet, but it feels like it balances out the fact that I'm on my third hot chocolate. But I wanted chaos, and chaos I seem to have gotten. The fact that I've had to change my book already is also another element of chaos. So I guess we'll see how the rest of the day goes. There's still a good chunk of day to go, so I could definitely have more chaos coming my way.
But I won't let us go down this way, so let's raise the frequency. What would it take to reach higher? I know it's in our fate.
Words cannot convey how overjoyed I am that my next drink is not going to be flipping hot chocolate. I'm so happy to finally have a cold drink. Oh, so happy. And I completely forgot, but I have the audiobook available of Vengeful. So I should have been doing rolls to decide if I was going to audiobook or physical book each time that came up. But I forgot, so we're doing it now. This is just a short little one. It's going to be 15 minutes, and I rolled to work on a cross-stitch pattern whilst I listened to the audiobook, which works out pretty well, as I've got one that's been like itching at my brain recently, so pretty happy to get stuck into that.
I know it's in our fate. There's no more time to waste. I wanna slow to reach higher, 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 Let's feel when the world is falling, brave when the sky might break, swim when the water's rising, say what they'll never say. Feel when the world is falling, brave when the sky might break, swim when the water's rising. History is what we'll make. Let's go down this way, so let's raise the frequency.
Well, I ended up getting distracted. I mean, it was about time for me to finish my reading for the day, but I was like, oh, I'll just do this little bit more after like my time was up on the reading, doing this cross stitch, and then I just kept on doing a little bit more. So now it's an hour or so. After I was like, oh, I'll just do a little bit more. But now I'm going to step away from it because the dice are meant to be on control. And I mean, to be fair, the dice told me to work on a cross-stitch pattern. So technically, I was still doing what the dice told me to do. But I do need to think about making an evening meal. So I'm going to get a drink because I forgot to get a drink despite being so excited that I could have a cold drink. So I'm going to have a quick drink and then I'm going to roll a die and see what we're having for tea tonight. I've had my tea. It was really quite tasty. I will say the salad wasn't as good as Wagamama's salad because it was a different dressing. I'm not really sure why they didn't do like a Wagamama dressing because it's easy and they released the recipe during lockdown. I'm guessing it was probably some intellectual property thing, but much better with Wagamama dressing. But overall, very, very tasty. And now I'm gonna paint my nails, so let's roll some dice and figure out how I'm gonna paint my nails.
The time I was speaking without any meaning, a long pause you carried out overnight. But on this connection without an exception, I'm talking in circles without getting breath in. I made a decision with a mind that's not mine.
We've made it to day 3. I'm going to be doing things just a tiny bit different today. Like, the dice are still going to be in control, but I have the theatre this evening, so I can't give the dice as much control as the past couple of days. But I'm still going to be getting out to pick my books, and then I think what I might do is use the dice to make some decisions in Waterstones, and I'm thinking of going to Spoons for Tea, so probably use the dice then as well. There may or may not be footage of the dice making decisions for those two, but I will update and whatnot. But anyway, let's get rolling and let's see what I'm reading whilst I'm at home today.
Well, I don't wanna know what you know, where'd you go? I forget just what you said to me. You're dead to me. Yeah, it's true, I'm alone on my phone, but it's feeling like a novelty. Won't offer me. Everybody's asking what's on your mind. On your mind, I'm fine. I'm just overdramatic sometimes. I'm just overdramatic sometimes.
Where's the wisdom? Birds of flight, where you heading? Hedging my best, that's a blessing. Doing my best, that's the nexus. Texting my ex like you get this. Tore down my defenses. Broke the walls, broke the fences. Open walls, open ended. Words is sitting, not poison. World is sitting, I'm poised when we go crash in the morning. We just smash, not morning. Man, it's trash, now I'm worse. Man, regards in a verse. We destroy what we love. We destroy, it's a curse. I don't know a lot. I don't know, I'm lost. Things that I forgot. The things that I am not. Oh my Lord, oh my days, hold me up when we break. Swear to God there's fate. Pray to God we don't phase. Oh my Lord, oh my days, hold me up when we break. Swear to God there's fate. Pray to God we don't fade. I wake up every day and I stare at the wall. And I stare at the wall. Empty look on my face. I feel nothing at all. I can't taste, I can't sleep. Movies all look great to me. When I smile, my insides, they don't match what the people see. I am here, but my mind is somewhere lost in history. Who I was, who I am, and which one of the two
Good
is
day out today. So I went to Waterstones and basically like I was going around the store picking up books and I wasn't sure how I was gonna let the dice choose what books I picked up. So like I was being quite free in what books I picked up. And then I was speaking to B about it and he said I should do it where basically if it's 1 to 3 it's a no and if it's 4 to 6 it's a yes. So I did that and then there was like 1 or 2 books that came up as no's. So I slightly cheated and rolled again. And of the 4 that I rolled again, 3 came up as yes. So I think I ended up getting 6 books from Waterstones. Luckily, I had a decent amount on my points balance, so I actually didn't end up spending any money. And I was looking back through the footage to see if it was usable because I did film B doing the dice rolls, but it's not particularly good footage, so it's probably not in this video. But as I was looking back through it, I realised that I got confused and the book that I thought was a no wasn't a no, so I put the wrong book back. So like I kind of let dice pick what books I bought, but also I did sort of cheat. And then in Weatherspoons, I basically came up with a list of like the dishes that I will eat or can eat, and then let the dice decide what I was going to order, and it ended up being a really nice meal, although way too much food. There's always too much food at Spoons. And, like, I didn't get to most of my drink, but that's fine. Like, I kind of go to Spoons with that expectation. And then the play, oh, wow. So we went to see Buffy Revamped, and it's a one-man show, and it's like a hybrid between a play and a stand-up comedy show. So good. Thoroughly recommend. We ended up sitting in the front row, so the performer basically picked on B and kept like interacting with him and getting him to do things, which was a lot of fun. And the first 3 rows, it was meant to be the whole theatre, but for some reason it wasn't. Got chopsticks that on the front of them say emergency steak, which was just really good fun. So I will say, if you have the chance to go see this play, highly recommend. Do not sleep on it. It's so good. I laughed myself hoarse and had just a brilliant time. And now I'm absolutely exhausted, so I think I'm gonna head to bed and it all starts over tomorrow. Hello and welcome to day 4 of Dice Controlling My Life. I definitely was tired last night because I've managed to oversleep today, but that's fine because that's one of the things the dice aren't controlling this week is what time I get up. I would have liked to have done that, but I take medication that kind of knocks me out at night, and also I really struggle to get up. Doesn't matter how many alarms, how violent those alarms are, it just doesn't wake me. So I'm up later than I would like, but we roll with it. Oh gosh, that was an unintentional pun. So I guess I should get cracking with some dice rolls and we'll see where the day takes me.
I dream about you daily, and your face, it's a painting in the Louvre, baby. All your words like the screenplay in a movie storyline, but I get scared till I say, yeah, definitely, baby. Almost as if someone's writing.
So once again, the dice rolled a double, so I had to change books. And I've started my 4th book in as many days, which is frustrating because I'm really enjoying what I'm reading and just want to continue. But also, I do kind of want to get all these books read before the end of the month, so I'm not overly worried. I just wish I could actually finish a book. Like, given how many pages I've read so far this week, I think I'm averaging around 200 pages a day. Maybe. I don't know. I should have finished a book by now, but the dice keep swapping my book, so swap my book I have to. For lunch, I rolled to have a sandwich, which is fine. Like, I am still really hoping for Roll for Chaos, and I've decided that if I haven't gotten that as a lunch option by the last day of this week, I'm just going to go straight into Roll for Chaos for my lunch, which could be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's the afternoon, well, almost the evening actually. So I'm going to do a few more reading sprints and then it'll be tea time. This day has gone so quickly. It's amazing how much just a couple of hours lying has taken out from my day.
Summer nights, summer days, growing up in a small town. Chasing highs, wonder why, feels like we're getting old now. The city of angels is calling and
So it's the end of of the fourth day, kind of. It's tea time, and the dice have said that tonight I'm watching Bridgerton. So as we're a little over the halfway mark, I thought I'd give an update. I think the dice are treating me relatively well. I kind of wish I wasn't on my fourth book of the week, or rather my fourth book having not finished any of them, but I'm vibing with all of them, so I'm not too mad. I just wish I could finish something, as I said earlier. But in terms of pages, sorry, they're all written on the back of my hand, but I'm up to page 120 of The Near Witch, page 116 of The Dark Vault, page 303 of Vengeful, and page 272 of This Savage Song. So if my maths is correct, that's 811 pages I've read, which does average out as a little over 200 pages each day, which I think is pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm just having a good old time, really. I'll try and remember to do a book haul tomorrow, as I think I forgot to mention what books I actually picked up in Waterstones, but I did mention that I did pick up some books. So now I'm going to make tea, and the dice have decided that I'm making crispy fried oyster mushrooms, I think they're called. So looking forward to that. Interested in what I think about Bridgerton, as I have been putting it off, but hopefully I actually enjoy it. Welcome to day 5 of Dice controlling my life for a week. I can't believe we are approaching the end of this week. It's gone really well so far, I think, but Dice being unpredictable, it could turn to pure mayhem over these past 3 days. We just never know. But once again, I've managed to sleep later than I planned, so let's just get straight into it and roll some dice. Maybe an hour of reading left to do today. We'll see how I get on, because it's getting a little bit late. But I thought I'd pop in with a little update, because I still haven't done a book haul from yesterday. And also, I finally finished a book. We're on day 5, almost at the end of day 5. And it's taken me this long to actually manage to get to the end of one of the books. But the dice have been relatively kind to me today. I mean, I had done my dice rolls for what I'm going to be reading for the next little bit, and I was like, oh, I'll roll to pick what my book is, because I've finished what I was reading. So I rolled, got This Savage Song, then I rolled for how long I'd be reading for, and it was a double, so I had to change to something else. But considering that's my first double of the day, like, I'm not too mad, you know? But anyway, the books that I picked up yesterday, we've got The Language of Seabirds, The Female Man, The Life and Death Parade, Chaos and Flame, and I've just realised how floppy it is, These Impossible Things, and This is the Canon. And yeah, that's my wee update and my wee book haul from yesterday. And I guess I should get back to reading. So I guess I'll probably see you in the morning. Good morning and welcome to the penultimate day of Dice Controlling My Life. I am excited to get stuck in and hopefully I can finish some more books today. During the final sprint of last night, I rolled to read short story collections. So I was reading Death Knell from You Love to Hate Me, I think it's called. Black Holes from Don't Call Me Crazy, and I think it's called A Royal Affair from A Universe of Wishes. I haven't finished the story in A Universe of Wishes, but I really, really enjoyed Death Knell. Apparently all the stories in that book have like random prompts, and the prompt for that was Hades wakes up in a well in Ireland. Really enjoyed it, and I felt like I could see the building blocks of Addie LaRue, or at least like some things that either inspired it or Addie LaRue inspired it, kind of thing. And then Black Holes made me cry. It was a non-fiction essay on kind of anxiety and like worrying about the people you care about, and it just rang so true with me, and I absolutely adored it so much. And it was one of those things that weirdly, like, I don't know if you'll get what I mean, but like it meant the world to me. And I'm really, really enjoying reading A Royal Affair, and it's quite good because I just read Black Holes, which was intense, and then A Royal Affair had the levity that I needed. So I'm hoping I can finish that during the first sprint and then go on to something else. Hopefully one of the books I'm currently reading, but I don't trust the dice not to mess with me.
Yeah, geeked up, sauced up, bossed up, lawless. Rockstar, what you call this? Freeze up, pop off, ballin'. Yeah, count racks in the morning. Geeked up, sauced up, bossed up, lawless. Rockstar, what you call this? Freeze up, pop off, ballin'. Yeah, count racks in the morning. Pull up on the scene, hey, yeah, what you need? I got money in the bag, in a pack.
I finished another book. I got to the end of This Savage Song, and I was literally like reading the acknowledgements as the sprint ended. So happy to have finished that book. So good, so intrigued at where the story goes next in Our Dark Duet. Very much looking forward to it. I mean, watch my luck and the dice will be a double next time and I won't get to go straight on to Our Dark Duet, but having a good time. I think the only thing that has slightly frustrated me about the dice so far today is that I had to have fruit for lunch. Like, don't get me wrong, I love fruit, and having a plate of fruit for lunch is a real treat. And the only reason I'm getting to have fruit in the house is because I'm using the dice as an excuse to have fruit in the house. Because unfortunately, fruit is expensive. But it's not always the most filling, and I didn't have a chance to have breakfast this morning, so I'm going to be quite hungry by the time tea rolls round. But yeah, it's going good. Very much enjoyed this Savage song and highly recommend if you haven't already.
Decided to make you mine. I'm never going back. I know that's
Hello,
a
and
fact.
welcome to day 7, which is the final day of dice controlling my life. I've had generally a pretty good time. It's been quite nice to not have to make any decisions for myself this week, but I will say there have been times where it's felt quite restrictive, and the dice have meant that I've not been able to do the things that I want to do, be that watching a particular TV show, finishing a book that I feel like I'm so close to finishing, just like various different things. So we'll get through today, and then it'll be over until, I don't know, the next time I do this, because apparently I thrive on a bit of chaos. If you notice that yesterday's footage was a little bit spare, it's because I had to go out in the evening to pick up a violin, and then the evening just kind of ran away, and I decided that I wasn't going to let the dice pick my tea. Like, I wanted to, but honestly, like, I'm feeling weirdly exhausted by this week. So we just ordered in for tea, which is why there wasn't much footage yesterday evening. And then I watched some How I Met Your Father before I turned up for bed. So in terms of what I'm hoping for the day, I know that at lunch I'm doing a roll for chaos because, as I said earlier in the week, if it hadn't come up by today, I was just going to do one, so I'm looking forward to that. Well, we'll see if I'm looking forward to it when I actually do it. And then in terms of reading, I think if the dice bring up Vengeful, there's a fair chance that I could finish Vengeful today, but I don't think I'm far enough into Our Dark Duet or The Dark Vault for it to be likely that I would be able to finish them today, even if that's what the dice had me read all day. So I would say the chances of me finishing a book today are not particularly high, but maybe. But overall, I'm just looking forward to one final day of maybe slight chaos. The only other thing I will say is that I'm really hoping I don't have to drink any more hot chocolate today. But I will check back in later and tell you how my day's going. It's lunchtime, and as promised, if I hadn't gotten the option of roll for chaos as a lunch option by my last day, which is today, I would do it. So the way that it works is I roll for a base. So we've got lettuce, pizza base / bread roll. I don't have pizza bases, so it'd be bread roll. But the idea is to make it pizza-y. Pasta, noodles, wrap or rice. And then I roll for a cheese. So we've got cheddar, red Leicester, Edam, no cheese, halloumi or mozzarella. And then we roll a D20 3 times to get 3 different fillings, toppings, whatever you want to call it. And if I get a 20, I add an extra one. So there is a potential that this could be infinite. And then the final thing, which possibly could be the most chaotic aspect of it, is the kind of finishers. So I roll a D6 for this, and we've got crispy onions, chili crisp, sesame seeds, jam, crispy seaweed, or no finishing topping, basically. So there is a possibility that I could end up with lettuce and jam and some other random things. So it could be very interesting. So let's see what the dice give me.
Table from last week. Parties are gone, weekends are ruined. Can't even handle myself. It's been going too long, more than a nuisance. What has it done to the world? Is everything a dream? I don't know what this means. Time has been slow.
At this point, I think I've just jinxed myself today. Like, first I say I don't want hot chocolate today, and I've already rolled for hot chocolate twice. And then I say something about, oh, I could have a really crazy combination for lunch. And it ends up being, I mean, I haven't had it yet. It might be revolutionary and delicious, but it ends up being noodles with tomatoes, peas, and nuts, and jam. I mean, I think I'll put some other stuff in it, like some sesame oil, maybe some garlic, maybe some chili, but noodles with jam, I'm not sure how well that's going to go. Oh, maybe what I'll do is I'll cook up a pack of ramen, so it already has the flavouring. Maybe that's how I'll work it. But yeah, I've clearly jinxed myself today. So I'm going to go through the kitchen and make that, and hopefully not boke at how it tastes.
Cute face, but you got no taste. Wouldn't trade it for its weight in gold. One of these days.
I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. Those noodles were tasty. I wouldn't go out of my way to make them again, but I don't think the jam added anything negative to them. If anything, it was quite a fun little hint of sweet. Essentially what I did was make cold, lukewarm noodles, and I put a little bit of sesame oil, a bit of soy sauce and some gochujang together to make a kind of sauce, but more like a light dressing. And then I plopped the jam on top, and as I say, they were not bad at all. And now it's time for the final afternoon of the dice controlling my leader.
I'm the original. Grab me a tissue. The world's gone shallow. But I've been wasting so much time trying to figure out what's mine. Instead of
minutes since I filmed this video, but apparently I was so exhausted by the dice that I didn't film an outro, so this is my outro. Take your guesses in the comments how long ago I originally filmed this video, but I had a really fun time doing this video actually, and I think it's one that I probably would like to do in the future, so please let me know in the comments any kind of tweaks or changes that you would do if it was you letting dice control your life for the week. And I guess thank you for making it this far. I know this has been a bit of a long video, but love you so much for making it this far, and I guess until next time, thank you. Bye.